Hey, Dena here. I originally got this recipe for curry turkey burgers from a friend on a message board years ago, and I have been making them ever since. They are simple and amazing. The ingredients you will need are 2 pounds of ground turkey. This is actually 3 pounds and I didn't have enough of everything else, so consider this a do as I say, not as I do situation. 1 tablespoon of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon each of salt and pepper, minced garlic. I usually use a small spoonful of the kind from a jar, 5 to 6 green onions, smoked cheddar sliced. You can use regular cheddar if you can't find smoked, but I really recommend smoked. It's part of what makes these burgers so unique. First, I cut up the green onions as finely as I can because I just don't like big chunks of onion in my burgers. I generally only use the white parts with just maybe an inch or so of the green part. Next, you dump the ground turkey into a bowl, add all of the other ingredients, except for the cheese obviously, and just get in there and mix it with your hands. It's a pain and I hate doing it, but the good part is I normally get 6 patties out of it, which means 3 dinners in my household, and I only have to do this once. Again, I'm using more meat than this recipe called for, and it's hard enough to mix this thoroughly as it is, so I added the spices in 2 batches. So at this point I get ready to form the burgers. My method for getting them roughly the same size is to just grab handfuls of the mixture and form balls with them and just kind of go by how they feel in my hands. If they feel too small, I'll just grab a little meat from the bigger ones and add it to the small ones. It's not a perfect method, but I find it works pretty well and there are no extra tools like a scale involved. Speaking of techniques, here's one that will work for any kind of burger, and it's a big time saver in the long run. As I form the patties, I put them in gallon-sized Ziploc bags, 2 in each. I try to make the patties as flat as I can, a little thinner in the middle than on the edges since they tend to shrink and puff up when you cook them. So I normally end up with 3 gallon-sized bags, each with 2 burgers in them. One goes in the fridge for that evening and the other 2 go in the freezer. So whenever you want to make burgers that night, just grab one of those bags and put it on the counter or in the fridge to thaw in the morning. That evening all you have to do is cook them, you don't have to fuss with forming the patties or anything. So anyway, back to this recipe. I preheat the pan for around 15 minutes on medium-low, and then I cook them for about 7 minutes on one side. 5 if they're smaller, but these were kind of big so they needed the extra time. Don't you hate the crud that forms on ground meat patties? I always scrape it off. Anyway, flip them over carefully because these release a lot of juice and you don't want to splash yourself with it like I just did. This is a better method. Then I give them about 2 minutes before adding the cheese slices. Then give them about 5 more, but keep an eye on it. Smoked cheddar looks like it's not going to melt for the longest time, and then if you turn away for a split second, it just melts everywhere. This is why I try to cook them a couple minutes on that side before adding the cheese, so that if it looks like the cheese is about to liquefy, I can take them off the heat and they will most likely be cooked enough. And that's it! Put it on a bun and you're done. Or better yet, have it without the bun. I actually think it's better that way. Either way, it needs no condiments in my opinion. The burgers have just enough heat and spice, and the smoked cheddar adds a ton of flavor. They taste nothing like regular burgers. Anyway, if you end up making these, let me know how they turn out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.